Hey everyone, welcome back to yet another installment in our little series of ours where we investigate all and every bit of cut content in the Silent Hill series. Today, we have quite a lot of cut content to unravel with unused memos, unused beta character models, and unused sounds. Welcome to the cut content of Silent Hill 3. On the counter of an ice cream stand found in Lakeside Amusement Park, there is a memo that is titled Dad's Memo. This is a memo written by Harry Mason, the adopted father of Heather Mason. In this memo, there is an early version with a difference in lighting and texture of the table surface, along with a translation with grammatical errors. In the early version, it reads the following: Daria said that girl is the devil, kidnapped for the sacrifice. I don't believe in my feeling sick. Is it because of the appearance? That girl resemble with Cheryl, based on the picture in the basement of the hospital. In the final version, the render of the Dad's Memo has a different table surface and a correct translation. It reads, Dahlia's the one who said it, said that girl was a demon, that she took my daughter for a sacrifice. But it's not totally believable. I mean, appearances can be deceiving. After the cutscene where Heather first meets Vincent in the Otherworld Hilltop Center, you can find a memo titled Photo on Chair that contains a photo of Heather. Two early versions of this photo exist that are similar in quality, although missing backgrounds to accompany the render. The first photo contains a picture of Heather with a black background. The second photo contains the same picture, although without a background. In the final version, there is the same photo of Heather, but with a fully rendered background. While in the Hilltop Center, there is a mini puzzle where Heather has to find a jack and a rope to descend to the first floor from an elevator shaft. Two unused renders are missing the jack that opens the elevator doors. In the final version, the jack is included in both renders with the elevator shaft. In the Otherworld Hilltop Center, specifically the elevator, there is an early version of the elevator buttons with a brighter level of clarity compared to the final version, which is toned down in brightness and much darker. In room M4 of Brookhaven Hospital, there is a briefcase with a combination lock that needs to be solved to unlock the instant camera. There is an early version of the combination keys that have a higher brightness in the render, compared to the final version, which has a toned down brightness of the combination keys. In the My Bestsellers bookstore, located in Central Square Shopping Center, we'll see Heather having to collect the Shakespeare Anthology books. In the early version, the Shakespeare Anthology books contain a higher brightness on the render of the books and the numbers displayed on the side of the books for the keypad code. In the final version, the brightness is lowered down and the 0 is now located at the top, along with the other numbers instead of separately. Furthermore, the background render of the Shakespeare Anthology Books puzzle contains an early version with a difference in brightness and its quality, along with a blue book titled Macbeth. In the final version, the render is toned down in its brightness and the Macbeth book has its title changed to the 59th Street Bridge Song, possibly changed to avoid confusion with the solution to the puzzle on harder difficulties. The file, Silent Hill 3_01 menu item, contains early texture sprites of the inventory items Heather can acquire throughout the game. The early version of the inventory items has placeholder numbers for the items that have not been given an item slot. Among these items are 3 unused items that were not used in the final version. Slot 21 contains a pair of blue batteries that were possibly considered for a puzzle but would go on to be unused. Interestingly, this item would be replaced by the OPS2 shirt Heather can wear as an unlockable outfit. Slot 23 contains an unused photograph of both Heather and Harry Mason. Slot 54 contains an early version of Dad's Notebook, which had a white cover as opposed to the final version, which had a brown cover with bloodstains. Before the release of Silent Hill 3, there was a demo at E3 2003 with a trial version for the public to play. This trial version contained a playable section of the Otherworld Hilltop Office Center. While this trial version doesn't contain differences compared to the final version, there is an unused graphic of the main menu, and upon completing the demo, an unused graphic with a blurb that reads, "Coming soon." There is an unused splash screen that contains a Team Silent with Comic Sans font that was used as a placeholder image for both the opening FMV video and the title screen. This unused splash screen can be re-enabled when inserting a code into the US version of the game files. An unused photo of Heather and Harry Mason was originally supposed to be found in Heather and Harry's apartment, which would be displayed on the wall. Interestingly, this photo does have a legible text that can be interacted with. It reads, "It's of Dad and me at Christmas. Looking at this makes me want to try even harder. I have to. I can't lose. They killed my dad, and they have to pay for it." This unused photo would have also been found in Heather's inventory, likely purposed for a specific use, but scrapped during development. An unused graphic of the title screen of Silent Hill 2 Director's Cut can be found in the game files, likely intended as an early placeholder for the Silent Hill 3 title screen. An early graphic of the first floor map for the Central Square Shopping Center can be found in the game files as well. There are approximately 8 test images found in the game files that are crude and rough textures with a yellow splatter in the background, along with a number outline of each file. The early version of Claudia's model appeared darker when it came to her skin tone, hair, and eyes. Her robe appears to be brighter as well. In the final version, her model appeared to have a brighter skin tone, eyes, and hair. Her robe, however, appears to be darker this time. The early version of Douglas's model had most of his appearance of the clothing appear brighter. In the final version, his clothing is toned down in its brightness to appear darker. An early version of Heather's model had a darker and more saturated color scheme. The flashlight Heather has equipped in her upper left vest pocket used to have a gray casing. To accompany the orange wristbands, there initially were black wristbands, resulting in a texturing error. In the final version, Heather's model would have her color scheme toned down in its saturation, the flashlight now had a green casing, and the black wristband texture error was fixed. The early version of Vincent's model contains prior adjustments to the shape of the arms, the size of his hands, and the color of his waistcoat. His final model would make these corrections and proper adjustments. In the early version of the double head model, it had minor differences in the face, teeth, and wraps around its body. In the final version, this would be polished. The early version of the missionary contained substantial differences compared to its final version. In the early model, it contained bloodstains that were missing on the front of the model, a different zipper pattern on the back of its clothing, and the head had a darker red color tone that made it easier to distinguish. An early unused model of Altiel contained differences that had white gloves matching those of Pyramid Head's gloves. This is likely due to both Altiel and Pyramid Head sharing the same model. Altiel's shoulders are missing the seal of Metatron, the back of his head is missing a mouth, and the shadow covering the right side of his face is missing, exposing a green-like pattern. In the cutscene where Heather first encounters the Closer, upon killing it, a deceased woman can be found that is a reused model of Angela Orozco, however, slightly modified. In the game's files, there is a similar model, although it had a higher polygon count and higher resolution textures. This higher quality model most likely went unused to save memory on the PS2, as it was limited. A file called anime_test has a plain texture of a wall with a cutout of a door. The file anime_test.back has a similar looking plain texture model of the wall, although with a checkered pattern. The file bg_tes has a black cube with a single texture of subway doors in the middle. The files dekoboko and dekoboko2 have flat plain texture models with shapes located on each respective model. The file hige_lip or huge_lip shows a model of Mary Shepard Sunderland from Silent Hill 2, although this model shows Mary with facial hair matching that of Douglas's facial hair. This was likely used to experiment with the face model's animations, more specifically, the facial hair. The file test_chdcc has an unused model of Douglas's head. This contains the base of the model starting from the neck up to the forehead. The file test_wave has a flat texture of Douglas's face model that morphs the face into that of a wave shape. The monster enemy, Closer, had an unused animation that would have seen it climbing from a floor at a lower level to an upper level. In the boss fight with Memory of Alessa, this would have had Memory of Alessa have an idle animation where she is sitting on a horse to then dismount it. Heather had 2 unused animations where she initially had the option to look behind her left and right, to then move her head up, left, down, and right. An unused track that is a remix of the track Results from Silent Hill 1 is repurposed here, but would go unused. This unused track would have likely been purposed for the Results theme in Silent Hill 3, but later scrapped. On the 3rd floor of the Hilltop Center, there was an 80% chance the player could experience a sequence where they heard a baby crying. However, this disturbing audio would go unused. As far as we're concerned, this is all the cut content of Silent Hill 3. I hope you guys enjoyed this deep dive into the unused graphics, models, animations, and sounds that are not too well known about, and learned something new along the way. Anyways, that's me. Thank you for watching, please have a great day, stay safe, and goodbye.